Well, good morning guys. Happy Thursday and welcome back to the channel. Real quick before we get into today's topic, I want to share with you guys a book I've been reading. For those that don't know me, I am in a book club with close friends and a few co-workers. Long story short, the book I've been reading has been really advantageous. It's helped me a lot, both my personal life and my work life. Real quick, this is the book. Hopefully this will help someone else out there as well. Again, I just wanted to give the book and the author, Dr. Redding, a shout out. Total game changer. It's been a problem I've had the last 38 years of my life. So again, hopefully that helps someone out there as well. All right, into the real video portion now. Hope you guys found that at least somewhat funny. All right, so today, this is a real thing, by the way. We're talking about the ELECTROVETTE that came to fruition in the late 70s, but never really made it to production. And if you've never heard of this, you're not alone. I thought I knew everything there was to know about anything Corvette related. Keep in mind, it's not really Corvette, it's a Chevette type situation, but the way they brand it, ElectroVette, it makes it seem like the first Corvette electric situation. I randomly came across this. This is gonna sound stupid, but I watch weird vintage old news clips from where I grew up and where I live. I know it's weird. And this little gem happened to pop up yesterday, and I couldn't believe it. As far as I know, this is the only real video footage of this car, and it happened to be in the Hampton Roads, Norfolk, Virginia Beach area, and it aired back in 1980. So I'm gonna go ahead and roll the little news clip, about 2 minutes long, and then we'll talk about it.
General Motors rolled into town today to unveil its latest automotive achievement, a modified subcompact that doesn't know the meaning of miles per gallon. Mac Lee reports.
Car shows offer us an opportunity to take a peek into the future of the automotive world. Although this vehicle has a conventional appearance, you might be surprised to know that it's quite different from anything on the road. It's General Motors' ElectroVette, an experimental battery-powered vehicle on display at the Omni Hotel. A modified Chevrolet Chevette, the electric car is capable of reaching a top speed of 50 miles per hour and can travel 100 miles without a battery charge. The battery pack, installed in the rear of the vehicle, is capable of providing 300 charges, or a battery life of 30,000 miles. Calls the battery design a major technological achievement.
This is a zinc nickel oxide battery, which has about 2 to 2.5 times the energy storage capability of the lead acid batteries, which were formerly the only ones available. So this really is the breakthrough that makes possible an electric car like this and makes it likely that we can go to the market with it.
Electric cars usually conjure up thoughts of long extension cords, but a cord is actually used to recharge the vehicle's battery. You simply plug the car into a standard outlet and the electricity becomes your power source. It takes 8 hours to completely recharge the ElectroVette's batteries. No exhaust emissions and mobility without gasoline or diesel fuel are the two main advantages of the electric car. But don't rush out to order one. The GM model won't be on the market until the latter part of the decade. Mac Lee, 13 News, Norfolk.
All right, now when I first watched that, my first thought was how similar it was to the Teslas you have now as far as the charging goes and how they kind of sell it and package it. I could easily talk about this in a conspiracy type light. I mean, this technology has been around since the early 70s. This was developed in the mid 70s. Keep in mind, these aren't lithium batteries. These are nickel zinc, and then it became alkaline type batteries later on. But in any case, let's dive into this little guy. Now, this was going to be the actual sales pitch for this car. Family auxiliary car shopping, neighborhood errands, or short trip transportation. Pretty much they're selling it like a golf cart. So from what I could find on the internet, this concept became a reality in about 1975. I'm reading my notes here, but I'll do my best not to just read them and try to talk to you. Now, the reason for this, what I could read, was because gas prices in the early 70s were crazy. They were about almost $3, $2.70, $3, but now it's almost like $10 a gallon if you factor in inflation. Fossil fuel alternative was really being pushed hard at the time, and it was a huge undertaking given the electronic technology in an automobile had never been tried before, and they threw a lot of money at this little project to see what they could do with it. They got 63 horsepower out of a 50 kilowatt motor. The battery pack was where the rear seat would be, so this was a two-seater situation. And the motor was shoehorned where the transmission would traditionally be in the Chevette. The wheelbase was shortened just a little bit. The initial concept was a nickel zinc battery, but the performance was very disappointing, so they quickly jettisoned that for an acid lead battery. This little guy had a top speed of 53 miles an hour, and it could hypothetically travel 50 miles. Now, obviously, we all know this car didn't come to fruition. In the early 80s, gas prices flatlined. They went back down to about $1 a gallon. What they were, and the interest in electric or alternative fuel sources quickly diminished. There's no interest in it, therefore money wasn't being pumped into it, so the car was scrapped. Now, when they officially retired the ElectroVette, the engineers pretty much admitted they were like, look, the technology wasn't there, it was more of a showcase, it was very much conceptual in its design. They knew it would never really work with the tech we had 45, 50 years ago. It just wasn't feasible. And they knew some sort of battery breakthrough would be needed to make these things even affordable. At the time, these things, even though they were a compact car, they would have been stupid money. They probably would have started about $30K, which is equivalent to about $80K now. So pretty much Tesla. Now you might remember the EV1, which came out in 1996, which was a GM product as well. Those things had an acid lead battery and good for 55-mile range-wise. And they were slightly faster than what the ElectroVette would have been. And the EV1 is also a very fascinating story. If you're curious, YouTube a video about the EV1, how Chevy, they put them out, they sold them, I think about 300 or 400 units. And then a few years later, Chevy's like, we need them all back. And they collected every single one of them and destroyed them. I think there's one left in existence. The EV1 is very fascinating. Very much a pioneer, way ahead of its time. I guess you could say it was kind of a successor to the ElectroVette. And the EV1 actually had a range of over 100 miles at the time they scrapped that project. Pretty crazy, back in the mid-90s they had this technology. And the craziest part about this, in the late 70s, early 80s, when GM announced the ElectroVette, GM management was so sure about the electric car future, they thought, and they were dead serious, by 1995, 1 in 10 cars would be an EV. That's crazy. I think you could say now 1 in 30 cars is an EV, at least on the West Coast. It's gaining ground slowly, but we'll get there, unfortunately. Well, in any case, I just thought this was a fun, quick little video. I had no idea the ElectroVette was even a thing. I mean, it's super ugly. I never would have bought one of the damn things. I wonder if there's any concepts still in existence. I don't know of any. If you ever see one, please let me know below. And I might do a video on the EV1. It'll be much more detailed. There's a lot more information on the EV1s, and it's really fascinating. But yeah, I guess you could say the ElectroVette, the 1980 ElectroVette, was the very first stab at the at an electrified Vette. So, E-Ray, stand by to stand by. Well, in any case, guys, that's all I have for today. I got some fun goodies coming for the C5Z. Should be here this weekend. I will be putting a very controversial part in the C5Z from a Dodge Viper. Yes, I said that. We will see how many people get butthurt and upset about it. I think you guys just might like it. So make sure you're watching out for that. Hopefully by this weekend it'll be out. We'll see. Well, anyways, guys, go have a good Thursday, and I'll catch you guys next time. Mark out.